Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another section of the SSX, which is the Startup School Extended. My name is Gloria. I will be your host for today. So the SSS sections has been something that the ETF community has been having for this new year. This is an initiative that we started this new year, and we have been privileged to speak to amazing people in the last couple of days. We spoke to Njoku Samson on Monday, and then we spoke to Samson Mohammed on Tuesday. Well, today we're taking it live. We're bringing it to the community online, and we're speaking to Ozoma today. So that I don't steal his shine, I will allow Ozoma to introduce himself. Ozoma, can you tell the house who are you, what you do, so that we know you better?
Okay, so my name is Ozoma, and I'm a software developer, and I'm also an entrepreneur. And so I built websites on the back end, and I also help businesses using technology to scale up and also um, make use of technology in order to scale up their businesses and on also business operations. So basically, we use technology to help businesses scale up.
Okay. Ozoma uses technology to help businesses, which is basically what engineers do, right? Do you have like a startup in each, something like a company that we can, check you by?
No, at this moment. So we are still working on something. I and my team, we are still working on something. It's not live yet. So hopefully by the first quarter of this year, we'll go live with our startup. But I and my team are still working on something amazing.
Wow, that's nice. It is that amazing story that actually we are interested to hear. We want to learn about how you were able to build up to this moment of deciding that it is something that you want to launch to the world. So today we'll be talking about validating startup ideas. It means that when you first had the thought that, okay, this is a problem and we should create a solution, what was the convention behind that? What did you do? So yeah, that's my first question to you. When you first thought about the problem, but what was the first thing that built up to this point that you decided to that you're deciding to run your own startup? What's the problem that you're trying to solve?
Yeah. Okay. So the problem I'm trying to solve is I'm trying to use AI to help people get quick medical attention. So that's basically what my startup is all about. So we use AI to to help people get medical services using AI. So then to your question, so what I did first when I first had this idea was I talked to my team because I have, as an engineer you have to have an amazing people around you. So I have an incredible and amazing people around me. So I talked to the team and I shared my idea with them and also get their insights, and from there we started planning and making research for it.
Oh, that's really nice. So you have a team that you're working with. What was the pain point? Did something happen that you decided that I think medical need AI? I think I think we should help people in this aspect. What was the breaking point for you that you had to like get up and do something?
Okay, so some time ago last year, I had a medical appointment with a doctor, and at the end of the day, I ended up being disappointed because the doctor wasn't on seat. Because probably the doctor had another, because most doctors in public hospital have their own their own private hospitals they run on their own. So they give more attention to their own private hospitals more than they do to the government hospital. So I had this appointment with a doctor in one of the government hospitals, and the doctor didn't show up. So I said to myself, okay, many people, not just me, because there are many people waiting for that doctor. So I said to myself, what are the ways that we can solve this problem using technology? So I said, okay, if we can get AI, if we can train AI model that can at least give uh, basic medical tips and diagnosis to patients, it can go a long way to helping to solving this issue. So that the only time you may need a doctor is when the case is maybe critical, or something that you need a human being to talk to. But on the basic side, you can just talk to an AI and get almost the same services that a doctor can give to you.
That's really I think that's like a very validated problem that we have in terms of medical, when we have fewer hospitals who that actually do a good job, and when you go there you have to like queue up and stuff like that. So I understand where the solution of using AI is coming from. So my next question is, you mentioned that you have a team, so I'm guessing that you got feedback from people and you had the idea first and say, okay, what do you think? How did you manage to get to the point where you feel like people would want to pay for these services or this idea that you're bringing to the market?
So after meeting with my team, the next thing we did was, because we wanted to start with schools, because the people that might need this technology very well, that might use it very well, that might appreciate it very well, are the young people. So what we did was, we conducted a survey in some campuses around here in Nigeria. At least we conducted a survey in up to 5 campuses, and and I must say we got a very positive response to that. So many people can't wait for this thing to come to life. So from the response we got from the survey, we are sure that once we launch, people will appreciate the technology, and people will be able to use it.
Uh, well, I mean, AI is already taking over the world in, giant steps actually, and the young people are taking advantage of it. Myself included. I think you too. So, in terms of your survey, do you have any, like, when you met these young people and they said that, oh, they'll be interested to using it, but at the same time it has to be in a very verified platform, like hospitals have to incorporate this to their systems so that people can actually know that works. Is there a way have you gotten to that point where you're meeting people and talking to them about this, like the people who would ultimately bring more value to you than the users? And how did you go about getting to that point?
Yeah, okay. So about that, so what we did in that aspect was, so we talked to a few medical doctors, and who are willing and ready to come on board the system. Well, like I said, the AI that we use today are as a product of what we human beings feed to that AI. We train the AI to do what we wants the AI to do for us. So so
Sorry, you
that's
can go on.
basically what so that's basically what we want to do. So we have few medical doctors that are willing to come on board and help us advance this AI to some certain level. Although although we are not building the AI from scratch, we're not building the AI model from scratch because we don't have the necessary finances to do that. But we have doctors that are ready to come on board and help us, add to what this AI is, or add to the model of this AI, add to what this AI already have, and make it more advanced that it is. So we have medical professionals come on board. So also we are also planning to integrate this into existing hospital systems. We have few telemedicine platforms that we are talking to, although we have not had any major we have not come to any major agreement yet. But we are hoping that we will come to an agreement where we can integrate our system into some of these telemedicine startups so that their own users can also benefit from it.
Okay.
So that's how far we have gone.
Yeah, that's actually very impressive. That's really very impressive. So in our community, and probably somebody watching us that hasn't gotten to the point where you have gotten to, right? Say let's say me for instance, I'm trying to come up with um an idea. What do you think I should know if I'm going to be able to differentiate between an idea and a validated problem? Like it has to be a problem for people to want to, pay for it. It has to be a problem for people to actually value it. And we can get ideas anywhere. I mean, I can just be sitting down, oh, I have this idea. And honestly, a lot of people might have thought about it and it might not be the validated problem because when you're trying to come up with solution, you just find out that okay, this really isn't the main problem. There's a bigger problem than this. So, what do you think? How would you tell me to, for better choice of words, I would say, um, what would you advise me to know for me to be able to differentiate between an idea and a validated problem?
Yeah, okay. So, like you said, anybody can come up with ideas. So, back then in school, where I used to call myself the idea box. So I had so many crazy ideas, I guess. So I had so many of them. So at the end of the day, you find out that yeah, it's not about having ideas, it's about validating your idea. You get so now. How look if you look around you, you find out that you find out that what you think is a problem might not actually be a problem. You get you might that's what you have to find out. Find out what's that idea you have. Is it actually a problem that people have? Let me give you an example. So I think okay, yeah, I had this idea of building an escrow platform where people let's say if you're buying things online, you pay into the escrow. Well, once the person delivers or services is delivered, then the escrow will sort out the person, will pay the person and stuff like that. So to me, that was a good idea. But at the end of the day, I found out that that's not really what, because that that's not really the problem. So the problem is trust. It's not about escrow. So even we as the escrow company, people have to trust us for them to give us the amount to keep for them. You understand?
Yeah.
So we found out that the problem is not about this is about trust. So if you have any idea, the first thing you need to do is try and ask question, conduct a survey, meet people, talk to people, have a second opinion on it, and also look around you. Just be honest to yourself. So sometimes if you have idea, you want you to be the next $1 billion thing. You don't want to hear anything. You are sure that this is going to work. So I bet your friend that said that he's trusting God, blah blah blah. I told the person yes, it's not bad to trust God, but but let's be realistic. What you're trying to do might not really work if you didn't test it out there. So conduct a survey, ask questions, always get a second opinion, ask people that will definitely tell you the truth, and from there you validate if this idea is actually what it is. You get so that's what I have to say about that. Thank you.
Okay. And just last question from me. I don't know if I have question from the community people that are watching, but last question from me. So in terms of feedback, right? You mentioned a couple of times that you ask questions and you got feedback from people, both from users and from people that actually might pay for this idea that you have. Um, and I'm sure 90% of it cannot be 100% positive feedback, and I give you go ahead. How did you manage negative feedback? How did you manage the criticisms that came with, oh, I don't think this idea will work? I mean, given the fact that we're also in Nigeria, we are not always positive per se. Ozema, your mic is mute if you're saying something. You have to unmute your mic. No, it's still mute. It's still muted. You're still muted. You can just click on the unmute button. Okay, yeah, now we can hear you.
Okay, so so I was saying, so most feedbacks always come from different contexts. It might be from experience of that person. So it might be so. If you ask me for a feedback, I might be giving you feedback based on my previous experience. So so what I do is that any feedback I receive, I always try to find out where is this feedback coming from. Is it from a previous experience or from what you think in your mind, or maybe from I don't know. So you always try to understand where this feedback is coming from. So I think that will help in handling negative feedbacks.
Okay, I think that's very insightful. I've not really thought about it like that. When people give you feedback, it's based off of what they've experienced or based off of what they
Yes,
understand that way. Which is really positive. That's a very good opinion,
exactly.
actually. I'm personally taking home today. Uh, I don't know if there are any questions from our listeners from the community, but final question so that I don't take much of the time. I feel that you are in a very good environment. Uh, so I want to ask if when you started this, like previously you have had ideas, like you said, you're the idea bank. Startup always face difficult decisions on when to pivot, on an idea, or when to decide to proceed. Right? How do you determine when it's time to make a change or let go of an idea that's not working?
I didn't get your question. Can you repeat your question? Sorry, I
I
didn't get your
said,
question.
let me just repeat it. I said sometimes, right? How do you decide? You mentioned that you were in school, you're known as the idea man. You always have an idea of
Hello, are
something.
you there?
Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Are you there? I didn't get your question. Can you hear me?
Okay, can you hear me now so I can repeat myself?
Yeah, I can hear you now. So can you go ahead with your question?
Okay. So I said you mentioned previously that you were known as the idea bank of when you were in school, right? So
Yes.
my question is, startup face a lot of problems these days, right? How do you determine when to let go of an idea? So you have an idea and you're working on it, and you just determine that. When do you get to the point where you determine that okay, this idea, I think I should drop it, or I think I should change direction into a different path, or let me just go with something totally different. How do you decide
Okay. So if I can get your question, you are asking when to know that this idea is not what
that? Yes.
going forward with. Okay. So actually, what I advise is before, okay, most people from this, especially Nigerians, especially software developers in Nigeria, once we have an idea, the first thing we do is start writing code. Start writing code. You gather people around. Hey, come! I have an idea. Let's start building. Start writing. Start writing code. So, to me, what I advise is, it's not about writing code. It's about, the code is important, but the business aspect of things is more important than the code. You understand?
Mm.
So what I think is, what I think is, you just have to do your do your research. You just have to do your research, understand the market, understand your users. Then from there you can now know if you can move forward or you cannot move forward. So that's basically that's the advice I have. So instead of starting to write codes, just do your vibration and know if you're moving forward or not.
I think you just spotted a lot of engineers that when they first have an idea, the first thing that they do is writing a code rather than thinking of the business aspect. I'm very thankful for your time. Is there anything you want to add or tell us as who are looking for, starting validating an idea or starting up a project? Is there any advice you want to give us? Final advice?
Okay, final advice to me, to anybody out there trying to, start a startup or do the product. So the first thing, especially for software, developers like myself, so the first thing you need to do, because we made that mistake of starting to write code immediately. So the first thing you need to do is validate your idea, so that you don't end up having, your code living in your computer, or you only using the software or whatever. So validate your idea, go out there, check if people are ready are willing to buy this, to pay for this your services or your products. You understand? And also the final thing is build an MVP. It's very important. Build an MVP. So the MVP is like the core thing that your system is doing, the core thing that the services you are doing. Just push it out and see how people interact with it. That will help you, give you some feedback. Then you can go back to a drawing table and know if you can adjust things, or you can add things, or you can remove things. So that's my final advice to people. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sama, for your time. I really appreciate it. This has been a very fantastic talk. I learned a lot. Put an MVP. Make sure that you validate if your problem is something that people would want to buy. So, like, if a few things that I've learned from today. In summary, from all like the conversations and the amazing people that we have talked to this week, I think one thing that has been consistent is that we need to do research. We need to do market research, both user and people that actually would pay money for our ideas. So the community is always open for questions. You can always drop your question if you are not able to drop the questions right now. We are always open, and also you can sign up to join our community. Amazing things are happening in the community. First, we have the SSS section, which we are having right now. We also have the founders' opinion, where we share stories and ideas from founders who have gone before, who have done this before. And also, ETF Hangouts, which is a tradition by now in the community, is happening next week Saturday. And we're looking for it to be, since it's the first time in the year, we're looking for it to be something very, very special for the community members. And on the last Friday of the month, which is the 31st of January, we're going to be having the all hands section. The all hands section is when we have the catch up within the community. We talk about what we have been doing and progress that we have recorded in that time. So I'm looking forward to meeting everybody at the hangout and also connecting more in the community. Do not be a stranger. Do not be a stranger. We are we are here. Thank you, Ozoma, for your time. We really appreciate you. Thank you for everyone that actually tuned in. Uh, I hope to hear more from you within and without the community. We're going to be wrapping up right now, but just on live. Like I said, we are always open in the community. You can drop your questions if you have any questions. But for now, let's all have an amazing day and a beautiful weekend. Bye.